How's it going? So today I'm gonna draw a bunch of rabbits. Just a project where it's just fun, a good way to relax. You just basically just pick something, cover the screen in whatever the thing you want to cover the screen in. A good way to start is that you just basically draw circles all over the screen. This will be the space that's taken up by whatever you're drawing. So I made a song about the winter. I'm gonna call it Jack Frost. And I was thinking about what would I want as the single cover. And so for my past 4 singles, I did birds, I did eyeballs, did fish, did skulls, and now I'm gonna do some rabbits. I don't want them all facing the same direction. I like variety, I think. They say variety is the spice of life, and I agree. Things are better when we got sorts of people around. Just scribble. I just want to get the idea, gestural lines. What I think would be interesting is if I made all of these just like rabbits, but then one of them has a human face. Most people wouldn't notice, but if you watch this, and I know, so that would become inside joke. A lot of artists don't document their process, and it's just lost to time how they made stuff. Let's give a shout out to cute little bunny rabbits. Let's go, cute little bunny rabbits. A lot of people have subscribed to this channel because of my claymation work. Don't worry, I'm working on a numbers with animals claymation. I did the ABC claymation. I had a lot of fun making that. And I thought, you know what? I should do one numbers 1 through 10 counting. And so I've made number 1. It's gonna be 1 unicorn. Number 2, I don't know yet. See when we get there. But just see if you're here because you like claymation and then you're curious and you want to check out and see me drawing, get to know the person behind the art, rest assured, don't worry, I'll be making more clay creations. But for now, if you just want more art, I'm doing art. And you look at all the little sketches. Wow, just very roughly, just doodling these all in here. I'm 100% going to do flowers with some faces, but they're gonna have like human teeth. It's gonna be one of them. Just gotta trust the process. You go with the flow, you make something cool. Sometimes you make something bad, and sometimes you polish those things that are bad. I think that's called polishing a turd. I like feeling creatively accomplished every day, feeling like I completed some sort of project every day. I feel like I have to finish a piece of art every day, or a video, or a creative project almost every day for me to feel fully fulfilled. There's exceptions, but usually that's the case. So look at that page covered in these rough sketches of these bunnies. Look at that, just a bunch of bunnies right there. I'm gonna go over, I'm gonna use a more brushy looking pen. That's a good shape for the eyes, good shape for the nose. I'm gonna draw a little oval with 2 little nose holes. It's not a rabbit without a fluffy tail. I saw an interview. I think it was the CEO of Walmart. I don't know if it was him. It could have been someone else. But they basically said, no one will care about your career more than you. I think that's true, what I've seen. You gotta put the effort in for your artwork. So I saw a filmmaker, director, and he was talking about how artists and creatives, the importance of what they're doing is so important to them. Even though the consequences of creating a painting and creating a movie, creating anything really, the consequences can be very small. And a lot of times the projects that you make really aren't that important. But in order to be creative, you have to be able to convince yourself and convince others that what you're doing is of the utmost importance, and that the pain and suffering that it'll take to get to the finish line of, let's say, I'm working on an animated music video that takes thousands of frames. What keeps me going? Why do I keep making it? Why do I keep making stuff? It's because I deeply care about the art and about the things that I'm creating. Hopefully that'll make me a more proficient artist throughout my life. I've always felt the need to, whenever I had an idea, I needed to make it as soon as possible. And then that would drive me to make something else. And then the more I create, the more I'm blessed with ideas for next projects. What happens is I'm struck with the next project I need to create, and then I feel the need to urgently make it, because I don't want to lose that or lose the idea, even if it's something silly like covering a page in rabbits. I still want to do that. I'm not following rules of bunny biology. I think if you're a rabbit scientist, you would say these are not the shapes of real rabbits, and I think that's okay. But I think some of these are looking good and funny. They're funny bunnies. Take a look at how it's going so far. It's going good. If you're a potential employer, I just want you to know that this video is not a reflection of my video making ability, but is more about documentation of process. And me making these paintings and drawings and showing behind the scenes, it's more about just repeating a process and getting better, if that makes any sense, where I'm coming from. Another thought with creating these pages where I just fill them with, I guess, similar maybe icons, repeated images, and similar iconography, whatever you want to call this. One of the thoughts I have every time I do this is that these would look really cool on clothing. I think I would like a shirt covered in the fish that I made. I would wear a sweatshirt covered in those fish. I would wear a hoodie covered in those fish. The bird pattern especially, I think I definitely want a t-shirt covered in that. Something I'm proud of creatively, having limited time, that when I have time to complete projects, I think there's an added focus, and so restraints have forced me to be someone who finishes more projects. When I was younger, you would be on a road trip and you'd have 2 or 3 DVDs if you were lucky, sometimes just 1 DVD, and even then you were lucky. And you would just watch that as many times as you were willing to, but you would also really dig into those deleted scenes, those extra credits. I'd watch the director's cut or director's interview where they're talking about their creative thought process. And I loved that as a kid. It's probably past midnight now. Wife and son are in bed. If the tonality of this is very calm, it's because I'm probably exhausted when I'm making this, and my wife and son are both probably asleep. So if I were too loud, I would be in trouble with my wife or my son. Can't be waking either of them up. It'd be not good. We're all our harshest critics. And I think that's a good thing, because that's how you improve. I'm gonna give them little cute noses, little pink noses. If I had done these at a different day, they might have turned out completely differently. I might have chosen a different brush, I might have drawn them differently. That's one of the cool things about artwork, and art in general. Where you're at, and time of day, time of night, where you are in your life. So many different things can impact your artwork in different ways. And it's not necessarily bad or necessarily good, but it's interesting. You gotta give them red eyes. If you've seen rabbits, white rabbits, a lot of them have red eyes. If you know why that is, let me know. I did a claymation rabbit for my ABC video, gave it red eyes. Someone said they were haunted by a cute white rabbit with red eyes. Wonder why. Putting all the catch lights on the right side of their eyes, just by the right side of their pupil. Like sometimes having just a dot for an eyeball in an art piece, sometimes simplicity is really powerful. But in this case, because the whole piece is pretty simple, the line work is pretty simple, and the figures themselves are pretty simple, having the little more complexity in the eyeballs, I like what it adds. I think I'm just gonna sign it now, and then I'm gonna figure out the texture. I think that's the best place to sign it. It's in this little... Now, for texture. Some artists, when they draw digitally, they use a glove, so they don't create things that they don't mean to. I have never done that. Maybe I should. Maybe that would help. So I did the splatter, then I did a divide blend mode. It's black. Look, it creates a white splatter. Plenty of people laugh at their jokes that aren't funny. I don't think it's my job to laugh at things I don't think are funny. I was debating putting pink in the ears. It really adds to it. I think it adds their layer of dimension, their pop of color, more texture. I think rabbits are pretty cool. It's a really cool animal. They're very cute. Have you ever eaten rabbit? To the average person, you're like, no, I would not want to eat rabbit. How could you even bring that up? Let me tell you, I've had rabbit before, and it is a delicious. If you like chicken and you like steak, you probably like rabbit. I hate to break it to you. Although they're adorable, they're also delicious. Which is sad. Sorry to my vegan, vegetarian viewers out there. I can say that I agree we should probably kill less animals, but at the same time I'll truthfully acknowledge that I think that there's certain animals that taste delicious. Whenever I start an art project, I have an idea of how it's going to turn out in my head, and I have an image in my head. I know I have faith in my ability to at least come close to somewhat of the idea. I like the simplicity. I like the red eyes. I like how the ears with the pink noses. I like how they fit together. I think overall it's interesting to look at, and I accomplished my goal of drawing a bunch of rabbits. Well, as always, it was good talking to you. I'll see you later.